Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are doing well. I am Sadaf Abbas and today we are going to learn about life functions. Let's begin with the keywords. Functions, locomotion, growth, respiration, sensitivity, excretion, and reproduction. I want all of you to write these keywords in your notebooks. Now look at this football and tell me, does it need food? Does it breathe? Does it grow? Does it reproduce? Or does it move by itself? I hope you all know the answers. If you don't know, don't worry. We are going to explain each of these terms later in the chapter. There are two types of things, living and non-living. The difference will be explained later. Living things are those things that can eat or drink, that can grow in size, that can move from one place to another, and that can reproduce. However, non-living things do not eat, do not grow, do not move, and do not reproduce.
Let's see different examples of living things and non-living things. Humans, cows, and trees are living things. A plastic doll, a tennis ball, and a car is non-living thing. I want all of you to look around and gather some of the examples of living things and non-living things. Can you see a fish swimming in the water, birds flying in the air, and a sleeping cat? Variety of living things are present on the planet Earth. There are some things which all living things do. These jobs are called functions. There are total 7 functions performed by all living things. We are going to explain each of these functions in detail in this chapter. Open page number 22 of your book. Let's read the chapter. There is a variety of living things on the earth. What does it mean to be alive? What characteristics do all organisms or living things have that make them different from non-living things? Underline the word characteristics. Characteristics mean features. Let us study these features in detail. There are some things which all living things do. These jobs or tasks are called functions. Living things perform these functions to stay alive. Not all animals perform these functions in the same way. Not all plants perform these functions in the same way. All living things perform the functions listed below, but they do so in a variety of ways. All living things move, grow, need food, carry out a process called respiration, produces waste substances, and reproduce. All living things have sensitivity. They use these senses to find out about their surroundings.
Let's begin with the first function, movement. All living things move. As you can see in the video, a man and some sheep are moving their whole body to get away from one place to another. However, plants move only certain parts. They open their leaves and turn to face the sun. Movement is called locomotion. Locomotion or movement uses energy. What is energy? Energy is a power or strength used by living things to perform their functions. Living things get this energy from the food they eat.
Open page number 23 of your books. Let's read the chapter. Movement. Most animals can move their whole body. Plants can only move certain parts. Plants open their leaves and turn to face the sun. Animals move from place to place to find food and water or to avoid danger. This movement is called locomotion. Underline the word locomotion. All movement uses up energy. Let's see how different living things move in different ways. Seedlings growing towards sunlight. Insects move by flapping their wings. Flapping means moving the wing up and down. They have either one or two pairs of wings. A jellyfish squeezes water out of its bell-shaped body. Squeezes means to press. The leech contracts its muscle to move along in loops. Contracts mean to shrink. The barnacle fixes itself to one place for its whole life. Barnacle is an animal. By making loops that travel the length of its body, a snake moves silently forward. The hummingbird hovers while it feeds. Hover means to remain in one place in air. A lightweight skeleton, two large wing muscles and forelimbs modified into wings help the birds to fly. A fish uses its head, body and tail to push through water.
The second function, growth. Growth means to grow in size. All young living things grow. Please remember, young living things grow. As you can see in this figure, a baby has grown into adult. Adult is a condition in which the living things have reached their maturity or they are fully grown. So when young living things have grown into adults, they stop growing. In the second figure, a seedling has grown into a plant. So two things to remember. Only young living things grow. And when young living things reach adulthood, they stop growing.
Open page number 23 of your books. Let's read the chapter. Growth. All young living things grow. At some stage, when they become adults, they stop growing. Underline the word adults. Some species grow more quickly than others. A human baby takes over 20 years to grow to full size. Next page. A young snake the size of your finger can grow to become an adult over 2 meters long. A tiger takes a few years to reach full size. A bean plant takes a few weeks to grow to full size. A small seed takes years to grow into a tall tree. So you can see that different living things grow at different rate. Some living things require weeks to grow, while some living things require years to grow. Let's do the concept check. Fill in the blanks to complete the sentences. Number 1. All living things grow when they are dash. Question 2. Growth slows down and stops at some stage in dash. Complete the word with suitable alphabets. Number 3. All living things move. Movement is called dash. It uses up energy. Let's find out the answers. All living things grow when they are young. Growth slows down and stops at some stage in adulthood. All living things move. Movement is called locomotion. It uses up energy. Next function is food. All living things need food. You can take example of yourself. Whenever you are hungry, you need food. Whenever your energy is low, you eat food. Food is important to carry out life processes. Food gives energy to perform all life functions. Animals cannot make their own food. They can get their energy from other animals, or they can eat plants. Plants have the unique ability to make their own food by a process called photosynthesis. Plants with green leaves can make their food by a process called photosynthesis using water from the ground, carbon dioxide from the air and the energy from sunlight. But please remember, not all plants make food in this way. We are going to discuss those plants in detail in this chapter. Open page 25 of your book. Let's read the chapter. All living things need food in order to carry out their life processes. Food gives them energy. Animals get this energy by eating different plants and other animals. The antlion builds a trap for ants. Fish swallow their food whole or in lumps. They do not chew. Animals such as cows, deer, goats and other herbivores chew their food. Underline the word herbivores. Herbivores are those animals that eat other plants. A mosquito uses a sharp needle-like mouthpart to suck blood from the humans and animals. Plants too need energy. Plants with green leaves make their own food. They do this by a process called photosynthesis. Underline the word photosynthesis. Using water from the ground, carbon dioxide from the air and the energy from sunlight. But not all plants make food in this way. Next page. Please read the box. Do you remember? Some plants do not make their own food. They can be carnivores. Carnivores are those plants that can get energy from other organisms. Example, pitcher plant and Venus flytrap. These plants trap other organisms like insects to get their food. Or parasites. Parasites are those plants that can get energy from other plants. Example, Rafflesia. Or decomposers. Decomposers are those plants that can get their energy by breaking down the dead plant's material. Example, mushrooms. Rafflesia is a parasite. It does not have green leaves and cannot make its own food. It lives off the food made by other plants.
Let's do the concept check. All living things need energy. How do the following living things get their energy? A. Antlion. B. Rafflesia. C. Apple tree. D. Shark. Let's find the answers. Antlion builds a trap for ants. Rafflesia lives off the food made by other plants. Apple tree absorbs energy by photosynthesis. Shark eats marine animals, for example fish. Next function of living things is respiration. All living things respire. What is respiration? Do you know what is respiration? It is a process by which living things take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Living things cannot survive without oxygen. Plants and animals use the oxygen in the air. Please remember, all living things take in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Different organs are used for respiration by different organisms. Humans use nose. Plants use stomata. Fish use gill for respiration. Insects use spiracles or tiny holes for respiration. Frog or other animals use moist body surface for respiration. We are going to discuss them in detail in this chapter. Please open page number 27. I am going to read out this chapter. Respiration. Living things cannot survive without oxygen. Both plants and animals take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide when they respire. Animals respire in different ways. Mammals, birds, and reptiles breathe through the nose or nostrils. Air is inhaled into a pair of lungs. The oxygen in air is absorbed by the blood and is carried to all parts of the body. Carbon dioxide is exhaled or breathed out. Next paragraph. Insects breathe through tiny holes called spiracles on the side of the body. Oxygen enters the body through the spiracles and is pushed through a network of air tubes. The different parts of the body take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Next paragraph. Water contains dissolved gases. Fish, prawns, crabs, and tadpoles breathe through gills. They gulp or swallow water in through the mouth, which passes out through the gills. Oxygen is absorbed into the blood in the gills. Fishes have nostrils, but they do not use them to breathe with. They use them to smell with. Underline the word gills. This is a special organ used by fishes for respiration. And fishes also have nostrils, but they use them to smell. Plants breathe through tiny holes called stomata. Underline the word stomata. These stomata are present in the leaves. Air and water can pass through these holes. Animals such as earthworms and frogs breathe through their moist body surface when they are in water. So we just discussed different organs used by different living things for respiration. Let's recall them. Mammals, birds, and reptiles breathe through nose and nostrils. Insects breathe through spiracles. Fish, prawns, crabs, and tadpoles breathe through gills. Plants breathe through stomata. Earthworms and frogs breathe through moist body surfaces. Next function is waste production. All living things produce waste. We all know that living things need food for energy. All living things take in food and get their energy, but some of the food is not needed by the body and act as waste material. This waste material must be removed from the body. Otherwise, it is harmful. Waste can be of different forms: solid, fluid, or gas. The process by which waste products are removed from the body is called excretion. What is excretion? Removal of waste products from the body is called excretion. Let's take the example of humans. Humans do not need the carbon dioxide in air. They only need oxygen in air. Carbon dioxide is exhaled as waste air. Open page 28. Let's read the chapter. All living things take in food. Some of the food is not needed by the body. This is passed out as waste. Waste can be solid or fluid. Some gases are also not needed by the body. For example, humans do not need the carbon dioxide in air. This is exhaled as waste air. Underline these words. Waste air. The process in which the body removes waste from the blood, tissues, or organs is called excretion. Underline the word excretion. Next function is sensitivity. All living things can sense things. What is sensitivity? Sensitivity is the ability of living things to feel things around them. Living things respond or react to things which happen in their environment. You must have observed when an animal realizes it is in danger, it runs for safety. You remove your hand quickly when you touch a very hot object. Many animals and humans have same senses. Can you name 5 senses used by humans? Sense of taste, hearing, sight, smell, and touch. Some living things feel or sense things with special body parts. We are going to discuss them in detail in this chapter. Open page 28. Let's read. Sensitivity. Many animals have the same senses as humans. They have a nose to smell with, eyes to see with, ears to hear with, a tongue to taste with, and a skin with which they feel things around them. Some creatures feel or sense things with special body parts.
Insects have feelers or antennae. Underline these words, with which they can sense what is around them. Flies fly above food. A fly tastes with its feet. Snakes have long tongues. These pick up chemical particles from the air and ground. Underline the words chemical particles. A special organ in the head reacts to scents. Scents mean smell. It helps the snake to trail its prey. Trail means follow. A zebra uses a combination of the senses of sight, hearing and smell to tell if there is a lion nearby. Spiders have hairy legs. These pick up movements when small insects are caught up in its web. Underline the words hairy legs. A bat has very sharp ears. It makes a high-pitched sound which echoes off surfaces. Underline the word echoes. Echo is a sound which is caused by noise being reflected from a surface, for example wall. Bats use these echoes to find food and also it helps them in finding direction. Fishes have a sixth sense. It is a line along the sides of the body called the lateral line. Underline these words. With it, a fish feels vibrations in the water. Underline the word vibrations. Vibrations mean movements. The fish then knows where there is food or danger. The leaves of the mimosa plant are very sensitive. A touch will make them close up. Let's do the concept check. All living things need oxygen. What body part do the living things use for respiration? In option A, different body parts are given, and in option B, different living things are given. You need to find out which organ is used by which living thing. Let's find out the answers. Nose is used by rat. Gills are used by trout and tadpoles. Spiracles are used by cricket. Cricket is an insect. Stomata is used by an oak tree. Oak tree is a plant. Moist body surface is used by a frog on a log.
Next function is reproduction. All living things reproduce. What is reproduction? The process by which living things continue to extend their species is called reproduction. It is a process by which living things make new life. Living things produce young ones like themselves. All the young ones grow to look like their parents. Animals produce young ones. For example, cats produce kittens, dogs produce puppies, plants produce seed or spores. You must remember if a species does not reproduce, it can die out. Open page 29. Let's read the unit. All living things produce young ones like themselves. Cows, giraffes, cats, elephants, and monkeys all give birth to babies. Some animals produce only one baby at a time. Underline this sentence. Some animals produce only one baby at a time, while others produce several. Some, such as mice, can produce up to 32 babies at one time. Underline this sentence. Next page. Birds, reptiles, and insects lay eggs, from which babies hatch. Hatch means emerge, to come out. Most plants produce seeds. A seed grows into a young plant from place to place in a variety of ways. Seeds can be dispersed or spread by animals, insects, or birds, wind, and water. Seeds can get attached to the bodies of animals, birds, and insects and can spread from one place to another. Wind and water can also spread seeds from one place to another. Some plants produce spores, not seeds. Spores are usually spread by wind or water.
Let's do the concept check. All living things perform certain functions. What are the 7 functions you have learned about in this unit? Movement, growth, food, respiration, waste, sensitivity, and reproduction. Question 2. Complete these sentences. Most mammals give birth to dash. Some mammals produce only dash baby at a time while others produce dash. Let's find the answers. Most mammals give birth to babies. Some mammals produce only one baby at a time while others produce several.
Let's do the worksheet. I'm going to explain the questions and you need to find the answer yourself. Question 1. Use the words given below to fill in the blanks in the sentences. Words are eggs, body surface, vibrations, hairy, and scent. A option. Snakes have a special organ in the head which reacts to dash and helps the snake to trail its prey. We studied about this in the sensitivity section. Recall and write the answer. Spiders have dash legs. What types of legs spider have? Write it down. A fish feels dash in the water. We studied about it in the sensitivity section. Recall and write the answer. A fish feels dash in the water. Birds, reptiles and insects lay dash from which babies hatch. Go back and recall your knowledge about reproduction and write down the answer. Animals such as earthworms and frogs breathe through their moist dash when they are in water. You need to tell which organ is used by earthworms and frogs for respiration. Question 2. Draw a line connecting each picture below to one of the two words. Two words are living things and non-living things. You all know the difference between living things and non-living things. The pictures are football, bulb, butterfly, wheel, tiger, rubber, and frog. You need to connect each picture to the specific word. For example, a bulb is a non-living thing. Connect the bulb with the word non-living things. Now do the rest of them yourself. Question 3. Give reasons why. A. A cat is alive. B. A pencil is not alive. You all know the difference between living things and non-living things. You need to write down those reasons or differences. Why a cat is living thing. Why a pencil is not living thing. Question 4. List down the characteristics of living things. Characteristics or functions are same. So list down the functions or characteristics of living things. You need to write only 5 of them. We studied about 7 functions of living things, but you need to write 5 of the functions of living things. Now I have a little activity for you. Draw the following table on the rough paper and then consider the items around you either inside room or outside house. Answer the questions with a yes or no. Does it breathe? Does it grow? Does it reproduce? Does it move by itself? Does it need food? I need you to find few things and answer these questions.
Practice questions. Number 1. Please write the names of 5 living things and 5 non-living things in your rough notebooks. Question 2. Please write the names of 5 animals and their young ones in your rough notebooks. Question 3. You know that all babies look like their parents. Do you have similarities with your parents? Can you share few of them? Please write down some of the similarities.